Man, John.
Dave, you okay?
Yeah.
Why are you squinting
Yeah,
so much?
it's so bright out here. I feel like I can barely see it. It's just,
Well, man,
oh, my
hey,
gosh.
everybody knows that time in the sun is best enjoyed with a pair of shades that you don't have to baby. You know, here, try these.
Okay.
Try these knockarounds.
Oh, my. These are
Right?
amazing, John.
Right?
I feel like these lenses have UV 400,
Uh-huh.
which, if true, is basically like sunscreen for my eyes,
Exactly.
but without the pain.
Right. And guess
Without
what,
the
Dave?
pain. Yes.
It is true. Because all of Knockaround's lenses have UV 400 protection.
What?
400. And now that the days are getting longer, you got to get yourself a pair, Dave.
Okay. I really want a pair, John, but these
Yep.
seem really nice. Are they going to break the bank? Be honest. Be
And
honest.
I am
Are
going
they
to
$1 million a pair?
They're not. I need those back, though. But not a chance, Dave. With polarized adult pairs, they start at $28.
Nope.
Yeah. And you can get a few pairs for
What?
$28.
Yeah.
Leave them in your car, toss them in your beach bag, or like I just did, lend them
Give
to
them
a friend.
to a friend.
For
Such
a minute.
great
And then
selection.
I'm going to need that back.
So many great. Over 20 different frame styles. Tons of kids pairs, too. And I can rep my favorite MLB. That's Major League Baseball. NFL. That's National Football Leaders. And NHL, which is not Hungry Lemurs. I don't know these for sure, John. Team with an officially licensed pair of knockarounds.
That's right. Dadville fans, don't squint through family beach days or trips to the park. Check out knockaround.com and use our code DADVILLE15 for 15% off your order.
That's Dadville15 for 15% off your order at knockaround.com.
Hi, I'm Dave Barnes,
And I'm John McLaughlin.
and welcome to Dadville.
Dadville's a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with Dave and me. John. Dave.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had your eyes closed.
Okay.
Like for a long time. Are you?
Sorry. No, I'm ready.
You're with me? Okay, because I'm about to talk about something super, super close to my heart.
Okay.
It's very important to me
Okay.
that the supplements that I take are of the highest quality. And that's why, Dave, for years now, I've been drinking AG1. Because unlike many supplement brands, AG1 conducts relentless testing. They won't stop testing.
They're testing right now.
Exactly, to set the standard for purity and potency.
That's right, John. So many people have asked me if AG1 is actually the real deal.
It
And
is.
trust me,
Yep.
there's a reason why I've been drinking it for so long, too. Quality for AG1 isn't just a buzzword. It's a commitment backed by expert-led scientific research, high-quality ingredients, industry-leading manufacturing, and rigorous testing. At each step of the process, AG1 goes above and beyond industry standards.
Dave, I know I can trust what's in every single scoop of AG1 because it's tested for 950 contaminants and banned substances.
Yeah.
While the industry standard typically only tests for 10, Dave.
I would have been okay with 5, John.
Right?
John, taking care of my health shouldn't be complicated.
No.
And AG1 simplifies this by replacing multiple health supplements like multivitamins, digestive aids, immune support, and more in just one simple scoop.
That's right. AG1's ingredients are heavily researched for efficacy and quality. And I love that every scoop also includes prebiotics, probiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support.
John and I have partnered with AG1 for so long because they make such a high-quality product that I genuinely look forward to drinking every day.
So, if you want to replace your multivitamin and more, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first subscription at drinkag1.com/dadville.
That's drinkag1.com/dadville. Check it out. Welcome to our podcast.
Even
Do you
though
know?
I don't get paid. What?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Remember we were supposed to like circle back to that.
Let's keep going and we'll talk about it
Okay.
later. You know, it's been a minute since we've done a little check-in with the people.
It feels like it's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been giving people such great content.
Exactly.
that
Selflessly.
We've forgotten ourselves.
Yeah, and everyone's out there listening, writing stuff down, writing notes, bettering their lives, but all the while saying, guys, stop for a minute.
Jeez.
Stop giving.
Think of yourself.
Think of yourselves for a second, you know? So we hear you, and we're giving the people what they want.
This is what they want.
they want us to think of it.
I'd rather not do this episode.
Yeah.
Candidly.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to go find a runner on Belmont and just interview them for the next episode.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the posture of my heart.
I don't know. I get like the spotlight's warm, sure, but I just feel like I'm constantly thinking of the people who would enjoy this more.
Yeah.
You know?
Can I actually? I know this isn't planned. Can I say something? Do you find that doing what we do? This is not planned. Everybody listening, so buckle up. I don't know how this is going to go.
They're all like, yeah, we assume we got that.
Yeah, Dave.
Well, it'd be sad if it were.
Do you find any like spotlight fatigue being 20 years into what we do? Like, do you feel any sort of like?
I actually feel like
you want it more than ever.
I crave it so.
I wake up every day. I make Amy wake me up with the spotlight.
With the spotlight. It's an old spotlight we found on eBay. She's actually gotten really
Googling
good at
spotlight.
repairing it.
People are like, who is ordering this spotlight?
No, I feel like when 20 years ago, I felt like that spotlight was so important. And like, it wasn't that I was comfortable in it. I think it was the opposite. I feel like I'm more comfortable in it now because I'm like, a little spotlight.
Yeah.
I felt like back in the day, I was like, this is so important and everyone cares.
Yeah,
and now I'm like,
yeah.
The people who are here, they care, but it's not like on top of their priority list.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's great. How do you feel?
Yeah. I feel that. I've noticed in the last like year, maybe couple years, I'm just really tired of me. I'm tired of selling me.
Yeah.
And I loved that for a long time with no shame. I mean, it was really fun. Like, hey, check the album out, the show out, the new song, whatever, picture, posters, T-shirts, whatever. I don't know. I'm just like, man, this is not as much fun as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's some of that second half of life stuff that happens when you're in your 40s, where it's like, it's not that I hate myself. It's not that at all. It's just like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a long time of doing this.
Yeah.
Sort of like peddling me.
Well, and I mean, not to go off on a tangent on this, but I feel like from a PR perspective, I'm just like, ooh, this story is boring. I feel that the people are like, so what's the story again? And I'm like, well, okay, picture this. White guy has another song.
And the thing
what do you think? You in?
It's not it's that weird thing of like, especially nowadays, you have, I mean, this is why we have this podcast. You have children. I have children. Like, what's happened? Here's what's happened since his last record.
Yeah.
They went to the beach. He hurt his toe and had to get a cortisone shot. I mean, it's like there's, in your 20s, it's like, man, what happened between records could be wildly interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just
and even if it wasn't that interesting, you're so drinking the Kool-Aid of your own thing that you're like,
of your own making.
It is interesting.
It is.
Let me spin this story.
Let me tell you why this matters.
I had a call with my A&R guy, and you could build a whole album on that.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, I'm like on the phone with there isn't even an A&R guy now, but I'm like, like I'm on the phone with management, and I'm just like, sweetie, I'll be right there. Just a second. Okay. What? It's just like, it's so not in the forefront of my brain. But what still is, not to be cheesy, but what still is, and I know this is true for you as well, is the actual, like, the music. Just the creating. That's the only thing that has survived the fire of all.
Well, and I think that's what keeps you interested, right? It's like, 'cause if it was just about me trying to sell whatever it is that I'm selling, I'm disinterested at this point. But I do love what I'm writing, and I like the newest record, and you love what you're writing, you like your newest record. So you do feel this compulsion to be like, hey, I got to still tell the people, but the stories behind it are hysterical, because it's like, you had a million things you were telling why you wrote that song with track 3 on your second album. You're like, give me an hour, I will land this plane. But listen to, and now I'm like, I mean, it's probably even better music because you've just done it longer. You know, it's like, but I mean, it doesn't have there's just not, life is just more of a sedentary thing in a wonderful way. God bless it for that.
Right.
But, it is funny because you just realize, like, yeah, I mean, I would love if y'all keep listening to it. At least you got some new tattoos. Like, that's interesting. I'm like, I haven't even cut my hair in 30 years. I mean, it's like, you can't really even tell.
Isn't it so funny? I'm skipping ahead because we're going to talk about shows that we both have shows coming up. When
by the way, that's when everybody hit stop. They just went, oh, is this where this is going?
Just hang with us. We got some other stuff. We're not just going to talk about music. But now when I'm like in a meet and greet meet and greet line.
Lawn. You got
lawn.
Australian for one word.
Lawn. Under the lights.
Under the lights.
People will like show me like, here's a picture from the first show I came, like Troubadour 2008. That and I actually love that because I'm like, I can already feel the deep V.
Oh yeah,
coming.
Yeah,
They're like, here it is. I'm like, yep, there's a vest and a deep V.
Yeah.
That's 08. But where was I going with it? Oh, now it's like if the show was any time in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
There's a real good chance I have the exact same outfit.
Yeah.
Exact same outfit.
Yeah.
Which actually is kind of painful because it's not that I'm ashamed of the same outfit. I'm like, that's fine. Yeah. I've died that death. But you definitely see how much older you've gotten. Because there's nothing else to distract you.
All right, this is not going to be about this, but I have to say this. I had a real moment of sadness. I think you and I laughed about this when I got my last photo shoot. And it was great. I can't stand photo shoots, but we got great photos.
Yeah.
I felt so deeply the emotion of looking at the pictures and going, yeah, it's time.
Because here's the thing.
It's all happening. The little wrinkles at the eyes, a little bit of gray.
It's like you're in a video game where you're like on little rafts. You know what I mean? You're trying to we're on like a river. Stay with me. We're in a river. Like the time is the river. We're all going along. But you can't stay on this raft for long. But there are different rafts that you can jump on. And if you jump on this one raft, it's nice and comfy, and it's like, oh, you're aging gracefully. You look older, but man, you've never looked better.
Yeah.
But you missed that raft, and then you jump on this one, and it's like, no, I'm just looking worse.
Yeah.
You've
chosen a way to make yourself look 50 years older, and it's not working for you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Guys, what we're saying is we have hard lives. That's
our lives are so hard.
You know what is tricky, I will say, truthfully, I think doing this for a career, I think so many careers, you have somebody that's older than you, that's either a mentor, your boss, or whatever. You can kind of look at it and go like, oh, this is, like, if I keep on my route, this is the way that goes. Like, her, him, that group, that company, whatever. Like, you can kind of go like, oh, that's what it's going to look like. Yeah. I think that's one of the trickiest things about what we do, is there isn't that. So you can't sort of forecast.
As you go through and you're like, now I'm whatever, like I'm upper management now. It's like, well, yeah, this is what upper management looks like. A 40, 50-year-old guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm the head guy in the department now. It's like, yeah, you look 60.
Yeah.
But it's like, in our business, it's like, well, no, the guys crushing it are like the young kids.
Oh, yeah, the young buck. Gosh, he's got such no wrinkles.
Yeah.
Gosh, just so all that hope in his eyes.
Anyway. How have you been?
That wasn't an edit.
Do you think we pulled off that?
Yeah, nobody can tell.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog was going to bark for the next 3 hours. Are we doing 3 hours, 4 hours for this one?
Do you order those syringes to have her put down? Or she's just asleep, right?
That's yeah. She is okay.
Okay.
Just sure, her chest is
fine.
So Johnny, catch us up. Like, what's the word, Big Bird? How you been?
Well, we're fresh out of spring break.
Yeah,
we talk about that.
Spring broken.
We have been spring broken. The trick with spring break.
Sprung broken.
Well, because you guys went on a trip. You've got a story to tell. We just stayed here for the most part. We did do a little weekend getaway thing, but we did a staycation for spring break.
Yeah.
Which was great. It is where I feel like the flexibility of what we do, which is normally
this episode is just going to be us complaining about our job.
I'm going to keep this real I'm going to keep this so short.
Set
But
a
it's
timer for
like
20
what's
minutes.
normally a total perk that we feel day in and day out.
It's the best. It's the best.
On spring break is or any type of situation where like the kids are home and your regular rhythm is disrupted.
Yeah.
Amy and I both know you could just not have a job this week.
Yeah.
Just don't have a job this week.
Yeah.
And then that we could be all on spring break.
Yeah.
But, and to Amy's credit, if she were here, she would be like, babe, I knew like what it was going to look like is we're going to hang out. We're going to go do fun things around town. And then you're going to go in the back and you're going to work for a little bit, an hour or two, whatever. And then pop back and we'll do some more stuff, which is pretty much how it went. But it was all my fault. I had a little bit of like, it had to do with this little weekend getaway that Amy was like, yeah, so we'll leave on Thursday morning. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were leaving Friday morning. And she's like, well, did you read the text? And I'm like, no, I didn't. No. Okay. Well, yeah, we're leaving Thursday morning. And then it's that, you know, kind of like, what? And then here's the thing is when she's like, well, what do you have to do?
That's here
Which
we
is
go.
a completely valid,
Yeah, it's fine.
normal question.
Yeah.
In that point in the conversation, but to me, I'm like, oh, so you don't think that I do anything?
No, you
don't think my job is real?
The fencing sword is drawn at that point.
Yeah.
And it is like, here we go, madame. Shitting.
Yeah. But it was, you know.
Where'd y'all go?
We went down to a friend's like river house. It's like an hour and a half away.
Oh, nice.
Kind of a thing. Yeah. It was great. It was very like relaxing and it was great. When Amy and I had this discussion to pull it into parenting, we actually had it in the park. We had Livy had a little soccer practice, like an optional, like, hey, it's spring break, so everybody was on the team who's still around. Let's do a little, you know, quick little soccer practice to kick off the outdoor season. So Livy's in her soccer practice. Amy and I and Luca are like sitting on the blanket. We made dinner and we're doing like a picnic dinner there. And we kind of had this discussion.
Mm.
You could call it an argument.
Yeah.
We were calling it a discussion.
Yeah.
But Luca was like, which the girls are always very like, hang on, are you guys fighting? And we're like, guys, we're discussing. This is healthy, you know? But I don't know if you ever run into this, but the girls are definitely like slightly uncomfortable, I think I would say. Very attuned to it. It's like they don't like any tension between Amy and I. And we're like, girls, this is supposed to happen. If
like,
you never
girls,
saw
this is
us,
what happens when your mom makes bad decisions, and I have to help her understand.
Yeah, it's out of my control. I can't keep her from making these terrible decisions.
These are the repercussions of her having made these decisions.
But it was funny, as it always is, whenever there's a little bit of tension and how the girls react to it. But all that to say, it was great. Spring break was great. I loved the time with the girls, and because I feel like I can already feel like the days are numbered with them. Like they're at school today from 8 to 5.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their days are so long. They're so busy.
Yeah.
You know. So
from what I hear too, that doesn't get better as they get older.
That's what I hear.
Johnny, everything okay?
Yeah, I'm tired. I need a break. Let's get some coffee.
Yeah. Well. Did you say coffee, John?
I did.
Not Coffee John, which I know is your alternate. That's like your superhero, but coffee.
I'm actually trying to get that name to go mainstream.
Coffee John. No, I like it.
Yeah.
Did you say like coffee, John?
I did.
Okay.
Well, I didn't refer to myself. I just said coffee.
Oh, then I've read that whole thing.
John.
Right. That's my bad. Today's episode in my morning cup of JoJo is brought to you by Let's Sing It Together. Start it.
Methodical coffee. Yeah, we weren't really on this.
No.
Should we do that again?
Yeah.
3, 6, 7, 4.
Methodical.
It's getting worse. Let's just move on.
Okay.
Guys, Methodical Coffee.
I had to finish.
Guys, Methodical Coffee has craft coffee and tea for people of all kinds.
Yeah.
Roasted, Blended, brewed, served, and perfected by verified coffee and tea nerds like me.
That's
Coffee
right,
John.
John.
Again, Coffee John.
Yeah, Coffee John. And now Methodical has resolved the headache of having too little or too much coffee from your traditional time-based coffee subscription. With Methodical, you can subscribe by usage, receive a free smart scale that tracks your coffee consumption, don't stand on it, and triggers your next order right at the perfect time.
Amazing.
So you'll always have just the right amount of coffee on hand. Worry-free, Coffee John.
The best part is, doesn't it sound good?
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
rolls off the
It does.
tongue. Best part is you can receive 20% off your first bag and then 10% off all subsequent bags with no code needed when you try the free Smart Scale.
Coffee John, we also have our very own Dadville blend.
Yeah, we
it's
do.
the fuel that gets me going every morning, filled with hints of, tell 'em, John.
Chocolate?
Yep.
I actually have a cup right here. Hang on.
No, you got distracted. I need you to tell them what else is in it.
Yeah, there's chocolate.
Okay.
There's graham.
Uh-huh.
I need one more sip. Hang on. Oh, there's brown sugar in
My
there
nickname
too.
in high school. There it is.
Methodical is on a mission to connect people to the beauty of life through coffee experiences for people like you. Methodical's been roasting and hosting.
RNH.
There's no G on the end. They're just IN apostrophe for over 9 years. And they offer a wide selection of coffees and teas from dark and roasty to bright and funky, just like you, Coffee
Girl,
Dave.
you know it's true. On their site, you'll also find brew guides that teach you how to turn your coffee brewing and chore, the thing you don't like, into a
not a
beloved
chore.
ritual.
It's a ritual.
Craft a cup you'll love with Methodical Coffee. Also, get 10% off your first order of coffee or tea with the discount code DADVILLE. Coffee John. John, I don't want to wake you up.
What?
John, I just want to. Can I tell you something?
What time is it?
John, listen. What do you think? What do you think I'm the most picky about in this world?
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm still waking up.
Just answer.
I don't know. How did you get in my house? Well, I mean, you can be very particular about some things.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe you're a big Oxford comma guy, you know? Always got to do the comma after the and.
Listen, I'm definitely pro Oxford comma, but that's
Yeah.
not it. Keep guessing.
I know. Okay. You don't allow different foods on your plate to touch. That's kind of your
Food
thing.
doesn't have hands. How would they touch? You're wrong again. The thing I'm the most picky about, guess it with me, is candles. Yes.
Candles.
Yes. Yeah.
I should have said that.
So many home candle scents smell unnatural and chemically.
Gross.
And after learning that the candle industry contributes to an insurmountable amount of non-recyclable waste, carbon emissions, and toxicity in our air, I am even more prickly. And picky, John.
And picky.
Yes, give me 2 words that start with P, and those are the 2 I'm using.
You can choose both of them. That's fine. Dave, I heard that almost 2 billion candles, that's with a B, are sold globally every year. And almost all of them are likely to end up in landfills for the next million years.
Oh, man.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
What can we possibly do about this?
Notes Candle has the answers. Notes created a refillable candle system that allows you to use your candle vessel again and again. And guess what, John? Again,
Oh
so you don't become part of the problem. It's so easy to use. The candles are made with fragranced wax beads. And they're wax, John. This is what I want to tell people. They're not wax.
They're
It's
not.
really great
It's
wax,
legit.
okay? They're awesome. All you do is place the wick in your reusable, John,
Yep.
Notes jar.
Okay.
Fill it up with wax beads, not wax
Not
beads,
whack.
John. Enjoy your fragrance for up to 36 hours, and then just do it all over again when you're ready for a new one.
Okay, so if I'm following you, that means that I can switch out fragrances all the time.
Yeah.
Because that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, next question, Dave.
Okay.
Tell me, do they have a candle that smells like bougie and luxurious and calming and also warm?
John, that's the Santal and Atlas Cedar Candle.
Okay.
Personally, I love the coziest scent imaginable, sweet but also a little spicy, like
Yep.
you, John.
Uh-huh.
So I went with the vanilla and pepperwood.
Ooh.
It's perfect for movie night or just cuddling up on the couch.
Love it. All right, so be a responsible consumer while not giving up on high-quality home fragrance by making the switch to Notes. Make the switch and build a starter kit. Right now, Notes is giving listeners 15% off and free shipping when you buy a Notes starter kit using the code DADVILLE at notescandle.com/dadville.
That's notescandle.com/dadville for 15% off and free shipping. It's wax, not whack.
How about you guys?
We so last year we did this, and then we did again this year. Went to Belize with the church for a mission trip, which was really good. It was 100 of us went
That's great.
from Covenant. 100.
And tell everybody what time you got up to go to the
Oh
airport.
my gosh! But that's a whole other conversation, isn't it? So like, they wanted us to be. So our flight was at 5:30, but because there's 100 of us, actually it was split up. I think we had 40 or 50 in our group, and then another group. The other group took another 5:00 flight, so we were actually the later flight. They wanted, they kind of
You were
needed
the
everybody.
lazy group.
Yeah, we were like,
Yeah.
we're gonna get some extra
Sleep
Z's, sleep in. We were taking a bunch of supplies down in luggage. Since it was Southwest, you could fly with 2 extra bags. And so, other than your, you have 2 checked. So they were like, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna pack these full of the things. And they just had church people bring luggage they didn't need. They packed the supplies in those, and then we flew with those in addition to ours. And so, they kind of need everybody to be there at the same time so they could give everybody
Right,
those
yeah.
bags. So they were like, hey, if you could be there at like 3:15, that would be awesome.
Gosh, that is so early.
And so if you're doing the math, that's, you're there at 3:15. So then you got to work backwards. Thankfully, you and I live 15 minutes. It's like 12 minutes that morning because there's obviously no traffic. But so, then you have that dilemma of like, God, what time do I wake up? Like, and then oddly that morning, I don't know if I woke up to pee or something, but like it was like 1:30, and I remember laying back down and going, okay, I'm going to wake up an hour from now. And if I go back to sleep, I'm going to like sleep, and it's going to wake me up, and I'm going to be like cross-eyed, or I can just kind of stay up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, because I naturally woke up, which means
Mhm.
I wasn't in the middle of a sleep cycle or whatever. For those who are listening, you have these sleep cycles, and what happens is you sleep during
Just
them.
refer to Dave's website. He has some literature.
And so, so I just stayed up. So 1:30, I just was up, and then the travel just took so long. It was like, and everybody got checked, and it was great. Like it wasn't long because it was bad. It was just long. We had a layover in Denver, which is, I don't know if you knew that is on the way to Belize. If you're going that way
You
around,
just
the
kind of
globe.
like, so you got to go around the corner.
And then you go north
cone.
over the whole globe and come up under the other side.
Because it's gorgeous approaching.
It's
from
so
South America.
the sun, and so it just was a long day. So that was like, I think we got in at like 10 that night to the
Yeah, it
hotel.
was a long day.
Yeah. It was
So I'm curious, what do you do? You're up at 1:30. What do you do? I guess you got like an hour to kill.
Yeah, I debated. I laid there for probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes going like, do I go back to sleep? And then I was like, I'm not going to go back to sleep. And so I think I just was on my phone, which is probably terrible. But I couldn't, because of our dog downstairs. Like, I don't want to go downstairs because then she's going to be up and then it's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to lay here in the dark and like pray and look at my phone mostly,
Yeah.
but pray. And
Well, you need the light to be shining on your face so,
so
God knows who's praying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Dave down there.
It's Dave.
Yes, I mean, but it was, but it was great. We work with this, the Belize Project is the name of the organization. They're great. So it's great because it's like, somebody asked the other day, and it was really good because they were like, how do you sort of assuage the white savior thing? Like we're coming down to. And I said, I think it's literally because they have relationships and have been doing this for a long time. So we're not coming to save anything. Like, you're not getting that sort of like Captain America is here,
Mm-hmm.
And they had really distinct thing that needs help with like they did last year. Like, hey, we need to replace this roof, or like the moms. A lot of the moms would help teach classes and give like the teachers a day off. It would be like, hey, they can go to a meeting, so you'll just sub for the day. So it was really great. It was like. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I think my global thought with that is this is what I found myself thinking so much about, and we're going to have a deep spiritual thought here for a second. I think one of the things that's so powerful about mission trips, and I felt this way last year when I went, is that when Jesus talks about serving and how close that is to his heart, you realize that when you serve, you access all of these things that you just kind of don't get by living everyday life, and that's okay. But especially when you serve in a place that is sort of like out of your comfort zone, inconvenient, with other people, you really feel. I mean, like my friend Buddy, who was with us, looked at me the second day and he was like, I mean, we're building this tin roof, literally. It was like 1,000,000 degrees. The UV index is through the roof there because you're on the equator. And he was like, why is this so much fun? Like, all the guys are laughing. We're listening to music. It's just like, and we talked about it later, and I was like, I think it's you have access to something really unique when you're doing that, because you feel so connected to the people you're with. And then my buddy Will Mooney said this too, who's down there, he's a therapist, and this was so insightful. He said, well, it's also because you're suffering together. And suffering together, and I mean, suffering, I want to make that the lowest low caps suffering of all time, but it's not, it's and you're definitely out of your comfort zone. Let me say it that way.
Right.
But you do feel that. You're like, man, we chose to do something that isn't, you're not going to go choose to do that for fun unless you really are linked up with the Spirit. But I think most of us would be like, So I think coming back, I was like, man, that's just such a good, Annie is so good at this. But like, my wife is so good at thinking of ways to serve and help people in Nashville. And we've partnered with Shower Up and Siloam Clinic here. But she's just always thinking. I just don't, sadly. I mean, that's my thing. But it was one of those things like, man, I need to remember how this feels, because it really is so good for you. Like, just selfishly, like to feel that thing. And I think as a family, it brings you together. As a group of people, it brings you together. You just feel so connected to those people. And last thought, which I thought was really profound, is somebody said, and man, I thought this was true. He was like, I think the reason our buddy Britton Wood shared a thought the last night, and he said, I think the reason we feel like this here is because this really is more like real life. And then when you get back to life, it really is the Matrix again, And I was like, what a great way to think about that.
Belize.
Yeah, Belize.
Was more like real life.
Like what God would intend life to be like. In community, you're not worrying about anything. Money's not a thing. You're just serving, being in community, enjoying your time together. And then you get back here, and all of a sudden I'm immediately thinking about like bills and songs and shows and ticket counts or whatever,
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting thought for me, because I was like, what a cool way to think about that. Like, because down there I didn't think about any of that stuff. I'm like, it's like it can't touch you there, sort of. You're like, we're just kind of doing our thing. But it was great. Cool. It was great. Big plug for mission trips. Everybody should go on mission trips.
Yeah, and it probably, we have not taken our girls on a mission trip yet, which is surprising because I've been on thousands before kids. But yeah, like hearing you say that, being out of your comfort zone, I'm sure it would just naturally make whatever group you're with,
coalesce.
They are then your comfort.
That's right.
So then
That's
you're
exactly
bonding.
Right.
It's like I want that to happen with my family,
It's really cool. And there's nothing sweeter. It makes me want to cry, but like, when you look over and you see your kid doing something like that, it's just like, it's just so life-giving. And it's like, because, our kids are in the ages they are, and that comes with certain little things that drive you crazy. Man, in those moments, though, like, seeing Xana's walking around holding hands with these girls, and every day they want to play with her, and she knows their names, and she's helping Annie teach a class, or Ben's doing the same with these boys playing soccer, and he's sitting down trying to teach them math and stuff, and you're just like, God, my heart is exploding, We don't know where Sam is, but like, he's just trying to find carbs somewhere. But
Sam's like, what's the local carb sitch?
Yeah. Well, and this is, sorry, I swear this is the last thought. Somebody told this story that I thought was so true. And they were talking about good works. I went to the men's retreat this weekend for our church, and Brian Habig was up there talking about this. And Brian said, he told this story about, I think it was a group of friends, or I don't know if it was a church group or something, had gone to help with, I think, not Samaritans, Salvation Army. They'd gone to whatever Salvation Army thing they were doing, and they were helping with it, right? Well, it had snowed at whatever city this is, and they're all driving home. And while they're driving home, they see a woman is out shoveling her driveway who's like 70s, like, which you would assume maybe the husband isn't alive. And, like, you're just kind of like, that's a weird scene. Like, that's a lot of snow for someone that's, that age or whatever. And so at the stoplight, one of the guys says, hey, can I jump out? And they were like, oh, you live close? It's like, nah, I'm going to go back. And so one of the girls in the car said, it just felt like I couldn't stop smiling, thinking like, this guy's doing that thing. And he said, that's the thing that's so beautiful about good works on earth, is it's not just for the person doing it. It's not even just for the person that's receiving the kindness. It has this crazy spiritual weird warp thing where it shoots sideways, and you feel encouraged seeing someone do it.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the strongest drugs from a mission trip to me is you're looking around and your kids, your friends, your wife, everybody's doing this thing, and you just feel like you're jacked up on some weird like drug because you're like, this is just such a crazy tangible thing that you don't really get in normal life.
Right.
We
got to figure out how to get that here. Little doses of that is what we need.
Yeah.
Because, my girls are getting to an age, my oldest is getting to an age where it's like, I actually heard on a podcast the other day, this person who's like a teenage specialist was saying like teenage years starts at 11.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yes, I can attest
Agreed.
to that. Agreed, 1,000%. And I'm like, I can feel you, of course, as you do at all stages, like you feel for your kids. Because I'm like, even though they don't want to hear me say that I know what it's like to be 11.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be 11. I can feel the like tidal wave of adolescence and everything that comes with it shooting straight for Luca.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this, what you're describing is like such an antidote to right size all that stuff.
Yeah, that's really well said. Yeah. And I want to just, for an asterisk, so whenever Sam, if he ever listens to this podcast when he's 15, I just want to make clear, Sam actually was arguably the sweetest because he helped Annie. He was Annie's teacher's helper the entire week.
Oh, yeah.
And there were moments where I would look through the window and he'd just be like, but he kind of grew into it, and he was so sweet and helpful. So I don't want to throw Sam under the bus.
I love little Sammy.
But there were a couple of times where we didn't know where he was when we were leaving.
Sure.
I digress.
That's part of his charm.
It is part of his charm.
You can't nail him down to one location.
Got to tell you one fun story about this, just to brag on Annie for a second. I'm in there. We're putting on this tin roof. It's really great, and we're like.
Can I ask you a side note?
Yeah.
How was the pieces of the tin roof not 1,000 degrees?
They were. I burnt my arm by literally laying it on it for no more than 5 seconds. Burnt my arm. I mean, it was like, the thing is, we were shaded for the first half of the day. And then as the day went on, we had to sort of adjust accordingly. Yeah. But anyway, so we're working on the roof, and I don't know if somebody was like, hey, you need to come see this. Like talking to me, and I was like, all right. So I get down. Annie, I have the picture. She is in the middle of this humongous soccer field that's next to the school. It's huge. I mean, it's like it's the size of a soccer pitch, mowing it with a push mower. And I started laughing so hard. And I look out there, she just waves. And I was like, and of course, all the guys are like, Barnes, I mean, you gonna let her do this? I mean, is that the move? But it was so cute. And then Ben did it. It was so sweet because he's like, Mom, I'll do it. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that's sweet.
But it was great. It was really good. Sorry, John. I'm worn out from grocery shopping. Oh my gosh, my arms hurt, my legs hurt, my feet hurt, my heart hurts.
And you really engage your core when you shop.
I do.
I've
have
seen
to
you do it.
When I lean over to get the peanut butter,
footage.
it's like
it's amazing. Well, you know what? It's funny you bring that up because it's one thing that everyone has to do is grocery shop.
Yeah.
So I say, why not do it from the comfort of your couch? I've been saying that for years and years and years. For me, that's where Thrive Market comes in, right?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. No junk food, all right? Healthy grocery store food that even my kids love.
Okay, John, I'm going to actually agree with you here. Okay, first of all, because I'm really sore from grocery shopping too. Because Thrive Market is also my go-to for all of my grocery and household essentials and convenience. The sheer convenience of getting everything online, then quickly shipped to my doorstep is a huge time saver. No hurt ACLs, my ankle's not throbbing.
Right. Let your body recover with Thrive Market. They carry brands with the highest quality ingredients and sourcing methods. They restrict hundreds of ingredients across their food and cleaning categories, and I can use their on-site filters to suit my lifestyle needs, Dave.
John, can I tell you something else? Whether you're looking for organic kid snacks, low-sugar alternatives, or gluten-free party essentials, you can curate your own shopping experience with a few clicks to make simpler, healthier swaps. Personally, John, I use the ketogenic filter.
Oh.
It keeps me keeps me buff. You've said
you buff.
you saw me mowing the other day and yelled across, Dave, you look buff. That's what it sounded like you said, and now in retrospect to me, it's like, can I borrow that?
Look, the
weed
only
eater?
activity that engages your core more than grocery shopping is mowing your lawn. I know that. I just love to save.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
And as a Thrive Market member, I
Yep.
save money on every single grocery order, over 30% on average, right? They even have a deals page that changes daily and always has some of my favorite
Oh,
brands.
I love the deals page. In
Yeah.
fact, I saved 18% on apple cinnamon yes bars.
Yes.
Not no bars, John, yes bars. And 19% on Aloha protein bars.
Ooh.
And of course, I got some Bonza pasta.
Oh, yeah. Plus, when you join Thrive Market, you're also helping a family in need with their one-for-one membership matching program. I join, they give.
Save time and money and shop Thrive Market today. Go to thrivemarket.com/Dadville for 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift.
That's THRIVE market.com/Dadville. thrivemarket.com/Dadville. I feel like there's something about being on a trip and like I'm imagining Annie down there on this trip and she sees the soccer pitch needs mowed. She sees a mower there.
Yeah.
And she's just like,
This is what
like when you have like, okay, here's a project.
You're just going.
Here's a thing that I can do that's you're going to have an actual real time
yeah.
you know, like there I've been on, I'm sure you've been on missions trips as well, where like you go down someplace and you know you're 13 or whatever and you feel like you're about to save the world and you're painting this wall and then like maybe a couple years later you're like, I bet we didn't really need to paint that wall.
Oh,
in that.
100%.
It was just I think the wall was actually erected just for youth groups.
Yeah.
Just to paint.
So you wouldn't paint the other stuff and mess it up.
Exactly. But like that, you know, you're actually like for a week, this is gonna like help this group here, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny. There's something about I remember when I was a kid being on vacation to go down to Texas to see my family. And like they had some four-wheelers and one of the days I'm riding the four-wheelers and I actually ran one of the four-wheelers into a tree.
Oh, wow.
And
were you okay?
I was super good at four-wheeling. And yeah, it was fine. But messed the four-wheeler up.
Yeah.
And like my granddad down there, my papa, my dad, some of my uncles, you could just feel like they were like, "Oh, here we go.
Thank you.
We got a project
Thank you,
for the next couple of days."
Oh, yeah.
You know? And now as an adult, I'm like, I get that.
No doubt.
Well, we got to the little river house that we went to this, the weekend on spring break. We get there and there was like a little leak coming from under the fridge. And I don't even know anything. I'm not like a handyman, but I was just like razor focused on like, all right, how can we do that? I'm looking up the like model number of the fridge. I don't even know why, for no reason. I'm just in project mode.
It called to you. You're like, listen, there's a problem here, and I am going to fix. This is my little mission trip.
Yeah.
Mission
That was
trip
my
around.
mission trip.
So I want to talk about this. You posted something that I thought was really fascinating last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to bring it up about you touring. We're both getting into touring mode.
Yep.
Touring season. And it was so interesting because can you kind of sum up what I know it was like a 4 or 5 slide thing.
Yeah.
But just kind of what you said.
Yeah, so I there's a lot I could say about this, but I was on a flight and I had tons of time. It was a flight to San Francisco and it's so long.
It's so long.
And so I had my computer and I just started, just writing thoughts down. And it ended up, I wrote this post about how it's funny, 20 years in of doing this music thing. I always get this sort of low-level anxiety pre any performance.
Yeah.
I've been in town now for maybe the last month or so. It's been maybe a month since I've played something. And you get into a rhythm and home life is great. And then like a couple days before I have to leave and go play some show, that I'm like looking forward to this show. It's going to be fun. It's this thing for the V Foundation, like out in Napa Valley. It's like, it's going to be awesome. And then I flew back to my hometown to play with the symphony orchestra there. It's like, these are all things that I want to do. And I'm grateful for the shows. But then this toxic little poison starts like dripping in there. And, like I typed out sort of thoughts in real time. Like, what is it that I'm like trying to get to the bottom of, like, what am I afraid of here? Like, what am I afraid that I'm going to get up on stage and forget the words? Like, not really. I mean, that happens sometimes. It's happened to both of us. Like, it's fine. Sometimes people like that, am I afraid I'm going to like play the wrong notes? I play the wrong notes constantly. That's not the thing. Like, what is the thing? It's like, I feel like there is more underneath this that I don't know what it is, but it's like, I just feel like I don't know how to do what is the one thing that I know how to do,
What a great way of putting it.
I don't know why that is. I don't know. And I have to say, because my post was, this has never happened before, because I typically don't write a lot under posts. But I tried to post it in the text and it wouldn't let me. It's too long. So Instagram itself was like, don't do this,
That was the first warning, John.
Yeah. So I did the thing where you like take screenshots, and I could not believe how many people actually read all that. Like, that's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
And it felt, it's not like it's the most vulnerable thing that, I feel like I'm very vulnerable on here, but I'm not posting things where I'm super vulnerable, like opening my diary for everyone to read. It felt a little weird when I posted it, a little bit. But I felt like the response was definitely, this is a universal thing.
Yeah.
That transcends any sort of like one field or occupation, And even people like, you said that you feel some version of this. You're definitely someone that people would assume, oh, you don't feel any version of this. You're like in go mode whenever.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Is that what people say on the streets?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, the back streets.
That's the only one I know, dog.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You and I talked about this some, but the thing that I found myself thinking about with that is like, I've really felt this compulsion this year, and I'm not going to go as far as be like, the Lord gave me this word, but I do feel that, but I'm not going to officially put that, I'm not going to get that notarized. Like, I don't want that to go on this record as me being like, I do feel that way, but is this idea of like renewing my mind, it's just been really present in my thoughts lately. And I think for me, when I read that, I was so reminded of my struggle with that. And then I was like, that's the thing I want to get better at as I get older, is really, I'm trying to avoid speaking a bunch of Christianese, but this idea of like taking every thought captive, but I'm just really bad. Something I've learned about myself, I'm really bad at slowing my brain down enough to check ideas, the thoughts as they come in my brain. It's just a barn door that's just wide open. And so whatever's coming in and out is just coming in and out. And so I've just really felt the weight of not being good at that from that. Like, that post reminded me of that, of how I struggle with that. And in this year, one of the things that's kind of a New Year's resolution of mine is like to try to not think those thoughts. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but just literally stop thinking. Like, I've just gotten a little better, not a lot better, but like if I'm in the car and, I'm just thinking, I'm driving and my brain's just going, it's wide open. That the minute a thought comes in that's like, man, what if tickets don't sell? I'm just like, I'm just not going to think about that. I'm just not thinking about it. I'm going to think about something else. And it's been really helpful, but it's also been alarming how that's what you do. You just kind of don't think about it. You know what I mean? And I think I'm not present enough in those moments, because I'll just take the bait and then then it's like, and then you're going to, I don't know, you're going to be homeless, and then what are you going to do? It's like, stop, man, stop. Like, it's okay. Like, so they don't, it's like, don't, but just, or yeah. We're just not going to literally stop that thought, start another thought. What's something else we can think about, And because I think I can just spiral. Not only do I think that thought, in nanoseconds, I'm 20 stories deep on that.
Right.
I'm like, it's gone from, why do I have this to you shouldn't have that, or they don't have that, or he doesn't struggle like this. And look at, if you would only, and then I'm like, how have I gotten here? So trying to be disciplined about that struggle, because I think I've just given voice to a lot of things. I've given credence and weight to things in my brain that don't deserve credence or weight. Yeah. That just should be ushered out. Right. It's sort of like, you don't deserve to be here. Like, leave.
But don't you think, though, that I totally agree with what you're saying. I think that there is a lot of usefulness that can come out of just don't try to, I guess usefulness that comes out of just stopping a thought or stopping. There was one season for Lent. I gave up any negative talk of any kind.
Oh, I love
as much
that.
As I could. I didn't go negative thoughts because I'm like, I can't control that. But, but it really was helpful. It wasn't like I didn't try to like examine it at that time. Like, well, why am I speaking negatively about X, Y, and Z? Yeah. I'm just like, let's just not do it. And so, and it really was. I was surprised at how beneficial it was.
Wow.
And at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, I want to eradicate this from my life, if that's even possible. I don't want this to be the pattern that happens every time. Like, you and I are a couple weeks out from playing shows. I don't want this to be part of the agenda anymore.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I'm like, I want to examine it. I want to like, what is the root under the soil that makes this thing pop up every single time? And I don't quite know what it is. And it can be easily, this is from the response to that post, this is a universal thing. So everyone pretty much deals with this in some form or another. And also the fact that we are literally getting up on stages and doing our thing in front of people, it's like, I'm sure there's some people listening that are like, well, that's going to come with some bit of like pre-show jitters or anxiety or whatever. Yeah. But I think this is something different. This is not about the pre-show sort of like nervous excitement, Yeah. I'm all good with that. That's fine. And I actually like that. And not to get way into it, but by show 2, it's gone for the tour, and I miss it. I want a little nerves.
Yeah, kind of butterflies.
This is more like you can't do it.
Yeah,
you can't do it anymore.
It's all the shame stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know why that's there.
Well, I think the reason I feel so strongly about just stopping is that I'm like, there's nothing you can do about it, Dave. Like, it'd be one thing if you're having a thought that's like, oh, I should go do something about this problem I have and reconcile how I'm thinking about it. But there's so much of it. I'm like, bro, this thing you're thinking, that it doesn't. It is what it is. Like, move on.
You don't think that maybe there is some sort of like deeper fundamental, I don't know, way of looking at yourself, or a way that could be sort of addressed that would maybe change it or lessen it, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah. I think some of it is just, it's just, I don't know.
I think part of the human condition.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's the chicken or the egg. It's like, does that thing start a problem that then you're like, or is it just coming out of nowhere, and is it iterating a problem there, or is it just starting its own new level of sequencing in your brain that if you stop it, it doesn't do it anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and obviously you want to have help, you want to go to therapy, you want to have friends, community, obviously the relationship with God, prayer, these things that help, whatever those root things are.
Yeah.
But I just think for me, so many times it's just these like random out of nowhere thoughts that just kind of pop in, that are triggered by something that I can worry about. Because it's like tickets, right, for shows. Right. I mean, a little bit of peek behind the veil here, but like, that's stressful for all of us.
Yeah.
And so because you're terrified of nobody coming or,
because playing to an empty room,
oh, bro,
it hurts.
the best, or the worst.
Hurts.
Absolutely. It does hurt. And
does.
then, well, what if the guy didn't want me to come back next time because I couldn't put butts in seats or whatever?
Yep.
They're going to have to edit that out. I feel so bad.
But
But I mean, so there's things like that. But at the end of the day, I can't do anything about that. Like, people are either going to buy the tickets or they're not. Like, I can only post so many times on Instagram or email there's a finite amount of things I can do to resolve that.
Right.
And so me worrying about it is just such a waste of time. Like, do what I can do about it and move on. Like, me trying to, or then doing the weird thing, like, what does it mean? Who knows what it means?
Right.
Yeah,
and I mean, that I'm 1,000% with you on ticket sales and checking them, or it's like, do you check it or do you do the thing where you just don't even check the ticket
show
sales
up and be like,
just
dear
show
Lord,
up.
please let people be here.
Yeah, I mean, that has been a constant companion my whole career. But I do feel like this is in a slightly different category. This is like, with the ticket sales, it's like, yeah, you do what you need to do. You post, you be smart about, have your management team handle that kind of stuff about like sponsored posts and whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But this, I haven't given up hope on like, this is beatable or like progress can be made here. And I don't know if it's just as simple as like, consider the lilies of the field. Like, can I get to the point where I really believe that deeper? Would that help? I don't know. Do I need to get that tattooed? Would that help?
Yeah. I mean, I think some of beating it, in my guessing, is the discipline of just not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Is just cutting it off. Because I think at some point, real problems are going to be real problems. Those don't go away.
Yeah.
But then the stuff that I think I can get so hung up on that's not here or there. It's just this weird ethereal things that I find myself getting like pit bulling onto. I'm like, what? Why are we thinking about this?
Right.
This is a waste of time.
So the 7, just for the record, the 7 here is saying, just don't think about it. The 4 is saying, lean into it.
Lean into the pain and drink it in. Yeah, which is not to say you don't. I mean, you have talked about this. One of the things I've learned so much in the last year or two is how to experience pain better, how to let myself be sad over things. I don't think that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that, like, just, I don't know. Like paper airplanes through your brain.
Yeah.
They're just like, where'd that come from? Where's it going?
Right.
It's not attached to anything. It's just like, like for me, driving and somebody has a billboard up. And I'm like, God, I wish I had a billboard. Do you know why you don't have a billboard?
Yeah.
Because you suck. Your career's over. Nobody cares. I mean, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like, no, man, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things.
Right.
I'm just like, how did I get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I do think it's, it's really useful. I think it's useful to chat about it like this.
Yeah.
It's useful to, to see those responses. I don't know. It's helpful in some way, even though there wasn't like some.
Yeah. Great
like,
resolve. Yeah.
Hey, I've found that this helps or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just kind of getting it out.
It is the human condition. There's no doubt. And I do think as you get older, these things tend to grow in size for some reason. It's like
they're going to go one direction or another.
Yeah.
It's going to get easier or it's going to get harder. I think.
Somebody said this yesterday, and I thought it was so profound. They're like, don't you envy how kids just don't care? And my friend said, I think it's because they're just not tethered to things like we are with age. And I was like, what a beautiful thought, right?
Yeah.
Like, how can I just not be so tethered to everything?
Yeah.
And I think the reason that life can get harder and more stressful is because I'm just so attached to it, as opposed to really being free. I had this thought thinking about some of this the other day where I just was like, this is just about trust at some point. It's just like God is looking at me and going like, do you trust me or do you not?
Yeah.
Like ultimately,
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting because we could just keep talking about this, but Amy and I this morning were talking about how, our 2 fears, she has a thing about health and like she doesn't, getting cancer and dying and like leaving her girls. Well, and me too, but like
Mostly girls.
mostly the girls, leaving the girls without their mom. And like, that is her fear. And for me, and it sounds so petty compared to, life. Mine is like, we're going to go bankrupt and I'm a failure and the girls can't do any of the things, can't provide anything, and, all that kind of stuff. That's my fear. And we both are like, if we could just somehow know that like, hey, Amy, you're going to die at 88, like you're going to live another life and more. And John, it's going to be fine. It's been fine. Yeah. You're fine. It's like, if we could somehow know that, then it would change everything, But it really, like you're saying, that really is just a cheat to trust. That's like a cheat way to get to trust.
There's no faith.
Right. But the thing that's tricky for me when, and I think I've said this on here before, when anyone is like, just don't you trust that God's going to take care of that? I'm like, I don't. God's not going to take care of it in the petty way that I want it to be taken care of. Like things that you learn, that your kids learn on this mission trip comes out of getting out of their comfort zone. And those things are not like, my bills getting paid is such an unimportant thing on the, if we're talking about eternity and true life, like kingdom life. I recognize that the things that I want to happen, I want to be comfortable. I want our bills to be paid. I want the fear and the stress of money, all that kind of stuff to be taken off my back by having more money or just having money. I'm like, I know that's not the route, So when I think about trust, it's like, I don't know. I do think that I do trust. I just trust that his ways are not my ways. And that, so I don't know what the future is going to be. If we did go bankrupt and we had to like uproot the family and whatever, I have full belief that could be one of the most meaningful full times of our life. I just don't want it to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like a cold plunge where you're like, I know this is good for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in that water,
Yeah, it's a yeah. I mean, I think that's if there's a lesson I learned last year with, everything that happened with the school that we're coming up on, it is that. Yeah. That it is, there's a million things, but it is like my view of comfort and safety are just not the Lord's. They're not. And so it's such a fool's errand for me to sort of, and I still struggle with it, but like, yeah, it just gets really messed up. And I know a lot of people have had that experience. Maybe a lot of times in their life are a lot worse than I've had to walk through, but it was my first foray into like, oh yeah, this is not the same thing, right? Ultimately, that's the promise of what we believe, which is so powerful. Ultimately, it will be. It's going to be amazing. Not just okay, ultimately. But like on this side of things, it's tricky. It's like a lot of things don't make sense and it's not really safe, And so having to really give myself to the idea that like, man, at any moment of any day, anything can happen. And that's just the way it is, is so sobering, but in like a way is also sort of like liberating too, because it just reminds me I can't control it.
Yeah.
And you can just live the way you know to live and then live in response to life. But it's a pretty like rude awakening, those things to that exactly what you're saying, like that feeling of like, just if it could go this way and then I'll be okay and it'll all work out. And that's just not the plan. And I think more than ever, I've got an eye toward heaven more than I ever have, of just like, if that's not the only comfort, but if that is sort of the only comfort I have, it's good enough, because it's the best kind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so anything else here is just a gift that goes right, you know? It's like, this is just such a blessing. It's not, you know, I think I sort of felt like I deserve everything to go right, you know? And now it feels like, no, man, it's like, what a gift that another day that, you know, my kids are here and we're okay. You know, like that's a big deal. And I think for a long time I felt like, no, we're sort of due that, right?
Right.
You know? But I feel you. I relate so much to what you're saying. It's like, yeah, there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
So in summation, we have shows coming up. Go buy tickets.
Deadfield.